message.
Hello? I can't hear you, but you can hear me, right?
We interrupt to bring you this.
We've hijacked your daily dose of regurgitated news to bring you Navigating the Truth. Brace yourself, listeners, as you're about to enter a world where the narrative is no longer masqueraded as the truth. A world where the conspiracies of yesterday's translate into the truths of today.
Are you listening?
The veils covering the truth are lifting, and understandings once suppressed are finally being revealed. Will you be ready? And now, your host and navigator through these circles of lies, the host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Hello and welcome to Navigating the Truth on Revolution Radio. And this is actually where I am. It is the 24th, but where you are, it is the 23rd. So welcome, listeners, and my name is Caroline Bell Tumblety, and I am your host. And I'm going to read you, we have some exciting news from Revolution Radio. And I'm going to read it out to you, what is going on. The station is actually going through like a whole renovation. Like it's bringing in some new features, like for the hosts here on Revolution Radio. So it says exciting news from Revolution Radio, and I'm going to tell you the name. It's Super Lucky Dragon Premium Service. And it's in relation to that. And it says, question, what technology will Revolution Radio be using for the new live stream feature? A, we will be utilizing RTMP, Real-Time Messaging Protocol, HLS, HTTP live streaming, and a proprietary method of integrating Skype data streams into the live feeds. This is cool. This innovative approach ensures vitality, zero latency, no audio-video compression issues, and a full duplex communications, enhancing the quality and reliability of your broadcasts. So, question, how will this technology benefit hosts and listeners? Answer, this technology allows hosts to deliver high-quality, seamless streaming experiences across multiple platforms with minimal delay. It ensures that the audio and video quality remain high without the common issues of compression or latency. Listeners and viewers will enjoy clear, more engaging content in real time, creating a more interactive and enjoyable experience. It sounds really exciting. And next question is, will I need to upgrade my hardware or change any settings to use this service? No. The hosts do not need to do anything. Our system is designed as straightforward, user-friendly as possible, ensuring that you can focus on creating you great content without worrying about technical details. The other information is more for the host, but what I want to say is Revolution Radio is a solely listener-supported radio station, and the hosts here, everybody is the people behind the scenes. They're all volunteers. It's all listener supported, and there is a donate button on Revolution Radio, and it would really help out the station if you donate. And there will be a separate, like they ask if you're donating for the streaming, that you indicate, like that you put a message in that it is for the streaming. I think when we were on Life in the Hologram before my show, they were talking about like having some incentives, like for people to donate. Patricia Hill like graciously offered to give 6 of her coaching sessions to like the highest donation. Madeline will read angel cards for a month, and I have offered to do a reading. So yeah, come on, get your checkbooks out or your debit cards and make donations. You can actually sign up on Patreon. I think there's a bunch of different tiers you can pick for, and it would be a reoccurring monthly amount, or you can do like a one-time donation. So that's the business out of the way. And welcome everybody to Life. No, it's not Life in the Hologram. I'm on Navigating the Truth. And this is actually my 4th episode. And last week I went into the roots, like the roots of your ancestors, like how we have become who we are, you know, like how did we get here? And I was going to, like, there is a point where, like, in the show, I'll start to link in these different myths, legends, tales, like folk tales, and also like some history, like to give you an indication of just how many times the same story has been used over and over and over through like thousands and thousands of years. It's a retelling of the same story. And sometimes you get different characters, sometimes there might be a little variation, but for the most part it has to do with the merging of two sets of beliefs that somehow they manage to come together in such a way that they enhance each other. And this is an old tale, you know, like Romeo and Juliet, like this is an old tale. And this is what your a lot of your bloodlines are about, is the continuation and the keeping of the line. And also when like the royals back in the day, like they would have marriages like kind of arranged, like between, like they would all be set in place, papers signed, how much dowry was going where for the children who might be 3 years of age, 4 years of age, and they, like the Prince of Spain would be promised to the Princess of Germany or whatever. And these were they were supposed to be forming alliances. Like these were alliances that were supposed to strengthen the nation, the country, the people, you know. And it was seen as like that's not what it eventually like became, but initially it was, yeah. Even when you see like your Revolutionary Wars, like your Civil Wars, like this is the same thing. This has to do with a division. It has to do with a separation. Like I'm going to throw in like a mere it might sound more kind of humorous, but I'm being serious. And it would be the Dark Crystal. If anybody has watched the Dark Crystal. And what you have is you have a separation of these ancient beings, and they have now become two separate entities. And you've got the Skeksis, who are all like kind of pointy and they kind of reminded me of kind of vultures in a way, like if anybody else saw it. And then you had the more kind of mellow, kind of hippie type shamans. And that whole story was the shattering of a crystal, and everybody was affected by this. And the idea, see, that the Skeksis wanted to be in charge, but that ensures the destruction of all. That's like the moral of the story, is like you have to come together. You know, like we stand on opposite sides of the street and we have all these reasons to hate or not trust, but you know, I'm telling you, they're not real. None of this is real. None of this separation is real. None of this, and I know, like, I'm saying this, and meanwhile, if we turn on our televisions, it's very real, you know, or is it? Like, and I'm not saying that there isn't a war happening or people aren't dying, and my heart goes out to the ones caught And these horrible, it's just horrible that in 2024 that we have to still talk about these things happening or still witness these things happening, that people are being used as cannon fodder because the grown-ups don't know how to sit down at a table and come up with an agreement so that they can learn to coexist. It's an old story, you know, it's a very old story. My religion is better than your religion. My nation is better than your nation. My soccer team is better than your soccer team. My rock band is better than your rock band. We can go on and on and on. It's better to be a man than a woman. Little girls like dolls. Little boys like trucks. I mean, this is all changing. We can see it's all imploding. It's all ripping apart at the seams, because our own identities are like who we truly are is making an attempt to come to the surface. And what is happening is there is so much confusion, anger, people not being heard, not being listened to, not being seen. You know, we have massive amounts of people who are thrown to the wayside. Like a couple of times on the show earlier, like people aren't even aware of their biases, you know, like they're not even aware of it. And saying that, like it's not even an accusation. It's a fact. It's an actual fact, you know. How well do we really know the other? You know, how well do we really know the other? Because basically our experience is with self, you know, it's with self and how we resonate to others, you know, whether we like this or we don't like that. I mean, we are very, very diverse, individually, no two the same, you know, just like our fingerprints, no two the same, no, like a snowflake. No snowflakes are the same. Like, there are variations. And I think in the first episode I talked about when I had visited, and I think I called it the Hall of Mirrors. It's not it was the Chapel of Mirrors, and it was Alex Gray, and I like his work. I mean, some of his work is a wee bit disturbing, you know, but you understand where he got his training. He trained in a morgue. You know, this is how he learned the anatomy, the human body. So, I mean, that's quite a training, and his work is, what it was when I visited the Chapel of Mirrors, and I had said this in the first episode. That episode wasn't recorded, so I'm not really sure if anybody is listening now, so I don't want to repeat myself, but I'm just going to tell this wee part because I think it's very, very poignant. And what it is he has, he'll have a Caucasian man, he has a black man, he'll have an Asian man, and they're naked, and he's depicted them in I think it is, what did he use? I think it was oil paint he used. And they were life-sized, and then as you progress through his art gallery, the Caucasian man would now be minus skin. The black man would now be minus skin. The Asian man would now be minus skin. And they were exactly the same, like organs, and there are little variations. There are. And the same with the female body. There are variations. You know, the pelvic area is larger than what it is in the men. You know, there's extra like bones here and there. So between an Asian man and a Caucasian, there is slight differences. Between a black man and an Asian man, there are slight differences. But these differences are not, they're not huge, you know. They don't have an extra limb or an extra eyeball or an extra, you know, the similarities are more than less, is what I'm trying to get at. So, like, minus the skin, you would not know what you were looking at. You know, you wouldn't know if you were looking at a black man, a white man, an Asian man, because the only thing that is going to tell you that is the skin, right? So his message was like, take away the skin, we are basically the same. And that is a fundamental truth. There are differences, yes, blood types, variations, you know, like lung size, hearts. There are variations, which is the reason why you don't mass produce one thing and say that one size fits all, because it's a lie. And anybody in the medical profession already knows this, you know, that we are not the same. We are not the same, you know, and one size does not fit all. And is that not what we're hearing? Like when you hear about the gender outrages that are happening, is that not what that is about, though? Is people just trying to say, look, I'm here, and I'm not the same as you. And you know how I feel about that? I feel more power to you. You know, because diversity really is how we create and evolve. You know, it's no the suppression and the strangulation, voices and opinions. That's a recipe for disaster, and we can see the results of that as it's happening. People feeling, the feeling of not belonging has got to be the worst feeling anybody could ever have, you know? Like, and that means you're drug addict. That means you're alcoholic. You know, the people that, they are basically disposable in the societies that we live in. And there's something really, really wrong with that, you know? Like, I can speak for personal experience to that. Like, that has affected my family, like, for real, you know, and many, many families. And the thing about it is, a lot of the times, you're dealing with very, very traumatized individuals. And I got to tell you, like, what is going on in the world, I don't think there's any amount of drugs that's going to make this stuff go away. You know, or any amount of booze going to make this stuff go away. I think you have to face it. And that's the only way. That's the only way into the new world. That's the only way into the new. You have to face what it is, accept the help that is there, and move forward. That's it. You know, don't turn away. Don't turn away, you know, stop looking the other way. And I'm not saying, like, take to the streets, and I'm not saying that, because I don't want anybody getting caught up in the rabble rousing that is occurring, because it is occurring. And I don't even blame them for rabble rousing. It's just not my fight. You know, this is not my fight. It had been my fight many months ago. It's not my fight, because this whole idea, one over the other, the picking of one over the other. It's the same when somebody says the world is overpopulated. They are actually condemning somebody with their words. I mean, that means that somebody's got to go, you know? And what, their arrogance is even going to tell us who is going to go? You know, like, no, there is plenty of room. This is an abundant place. Like, I live in a very, very wealthy country. Nobody should be hungry. Nobody should be on the street. America is one of the wealthiest countries in the world. There should not be any homeless. And that is a failing of our societies. You know, like, we have to stop blaming each other about this. We have to stop blaming each other. And we have to pay attention to the biases that have been basically handed down through generations upon generations upon generations. We're not responsible for our ancestors. We're not responsible for the mistakes they made. We are the breaking of the chains. We are the ones who see, we look, and we say, okay, no more. Forward we go. We don't fight each other. We don't argue with ourselves. This is insanity. There isn't any other way around it. I mean, if you're sitting by yourself and there's an argument going on in your head, we don't do that. This is not what we do. We don't argue with ourselves. There's something wrong here. And, like, I've even been outside and I have felt the atmosphere, like the change in the atmosphere, because I want to be aware. I don't want to be asleep. I want to notice what is happening. You know, like, even if it's a silent witness or sacred witness or observer, like, and I'm writing it down, you know, everything that is occurring. I mean, we have an incident here where it's an old, and I know it's an ancient site, and many people know it's an ancient site. Hence the reason why it was picked for a refinery, you know, and I walked by it, and they must have removed now, like, it's got to be close to 20 feet of the topsoil. And it's right on the coast, and I was watching it, the smell of oil is so strong, and people are complaining because, yeah, it's blowing right in. It's blowing right into the house. They're complaining about there's a slippiness, like, on their paths. So that's an indication that there's oil. I mean, they'd done the tests. They tested this ground. And they said, oh no, not fit for humans. You know, this is, no, we do not recommend that you have humans living on here. You know, so they brought in the remediation, is that what they call them, the environmentalists? So they're just scraping off all the top surface. The thing is, these tanks went 150 feet into the ground, so they're not even close when they're taking 20 feet off. And the thing is, there's bones, there's artifacts, there's ancient things, like, as we know, like, the earth has just got bigger over time, and we have built on top of cities. Like, when you start digging, or you go into the ocean, there's whole continents in there, like whole civilizations, like cities. You know, like, you go into Edinburgh and you see a demolition, and if there's you can see there's stories all the way down, you know, it'll go all the way down. Like, maybe 3 or 4, like, levels, cities or towns built one on top of the other. It's the same in Jerusalem. I remember, like, seeing a documentary, and it was a temple underneath a temple, and it must have been like a Knights Templar temple. It was absolutely beautiful. Like, the architecture was phenomenal. Like, see, here's the thing. Yeah, there might be baddies and there might be goodies, and there might be, like, well, we know there are, and there's people who have been up to some really, really dodgy stuff. The thing is, if they're musicians, their music still stands. If they are writers, their writing still stands. If they have built something phenomenal, the building still stands. Don't confuse, like, don't confuse the art with the shadow, you know? Like, we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's not what we're doing here. And all too often, I think that has been what has happened. Like, let's erase it. You know, let's erase all trace of it. You know, let's pretend it never happened. You know, Monty Python were great for things like that. You know, like, they would just laugh at it and make up ridiculous stories. And that is actually what has been going on. Only nobody's really laughing because to find out that to start, like, that maybe all these women that were supposedly beheaded might never have been beheaded, like at the time of Henry VIII, you know, Mary Queen of Scots, you know, like another one, you know. These are stories. Oh, and I'm coming up on a break, so I will be back after this break, listeners. Stay tuned.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily...
Now, I don't know if I'm live. I have no idea. Can anybody in the host chat, can you hear me? I think it just cut out. I didn't hear the tune. And is anybody here that can tell me if they can hear me or not? Because I have no idea if I'm actually live, because the ad just cut out. Can anybody hear me? I don't want to talk if nobody can hear me, you know. I'm going live here. Anyway, I'll keep talking. I may as well just keep talking until I hear from somebody, but I'm not even sure if I'm live or not. But anyways, so I don't know where I was. I kind of got thrown off there with the ad just kind of cutting out like that, and I wasn't sure if I came back on. I'm not even sure if I'm on right now, but I was just talking about like how the these differences that we all kind of think that we have, we don't really have them. You know, we really don't. No, in the way that it is exaggerated. You know, oh my goodness. I mean, think of the speeches back in the day, you know, Hitler and his rabble-rousing days. Do we really have anybody like that? Like right now, I would say every single leader, every single party is pretty much like that. They're like bonkers. They're just crazy bonkers. And I just like, I have never experienced so much division, so much, I've never seen people so lost, you know, and then there's this other part that is just like, everything is great, and make sure I got everything that I need, and yep, I've made my appointment to do this. Everything is just like, and I mean, I never did like the doomsday prophets. Like, they would always kind of rain on the parade, you know, especially if you're trying to have like a happy outlook. And I'm all for that. You know, I'm all for joy, happy, peace, harmony. I really believe that is your birthright. Like, if you want to look at it, is your right as beings, sentient beings, sovereign beings, to be happy, to be full of joy. Like, this can all change really, really quickly. And it is about our focus, and it is about tuning in. It's there. It's right there. It's right there for us. And, you know, I think to myself, I'm not part of the insanity that I see, like, and I really don't think I'm part of it, but I'm impacted by it. Even if I say I'm in the world, but I'm not really part of the world, I'm impacted by it. I'm still impacted by it. Like, I had bought a block of butter. Like, I'd picked up some butter for the supermarket the other day there. And it tasted so strange. I immediately threw it away. Like, the date and everything was fine on it, but there was something that wasn't right. And I love my butter. And I wouldn't quickly throw away a block of butter. But there was something not tasting right. And I had it was just actually a wee brief interaction with a friend, and that she was saying she just doesn't trust food. I'm starting to feel the same, you know. It's like, and you know, this whole not trusting, like, if I don't trust, then I'm not trusting in my ability to actually affect and change the vibrations of things around me. But it's like the amount of things around me that need a vibrational, like, what would we say, adjustment. It is so vast. And that's why the depletion is happening. And, like, I've always kind of prided myself in being able to kind of flush toxicity from my system and my thoughts, like, clean them up. Like, it had become such an ingrained habit in my life to to do a chant, you know, to start a water fast or just lemon and water. These things, like, it was always like, I would automatically know when it was time to do it. And I would also automatically know when it was time to, like, charge an area outside or just send love, warmth, you know, understanding, listening. Like, that's always, like, even, like, I haven't really been in the circles for a long time. I've been aware, you know, I've been in the background, I've been paying attention. And I will not subscribe to the idea that that I can't change it, you know, that the food can become healthy that I'm going to take in, because I can change it, you know, I can change the very life of that food. I can change the water, I can change the air around me, I can change the atmosphere, I can change me and how I think and how I feel about things. What I'm finding is that there is just so much out of whack that my energy gets depleted much quicker than it used to. And yeah, I'm getting, well, I don't even think I'm getting up there. I mean, is 62 up there? I mean, like, really? Is it up there? Like, I mean, I'm no like shuffling around, you know, like I do forget things. But I think that's merely the atmosphere that we are in, and the deliberate attempt to befuddle us, you know, for lack of a better description of it. Like, it's actually, like, when you're constantly being told the same thing over and over and over and over and over, and you think, oh, well, it must be true, but it's not true just because it's being repeated. It's really not, you know. And that's where I understand that that we are all, like, it's not that anybody's better than anybody else, but we're all at different stages, you know. We're all at different levels of awareness, and there's I think there is quite a few have had it, you know. We've had enough, you know. And it's not that we're saying, it's like, this is old. This is a repeating pattern that has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. Like, don't you think enough already? You know, it's just, it was a bad play to begin with, you know, because the idea was to be able to come together. It was to coexist. It was to get along, you know. It was not to blow up half the world and think the rest of it wasn't going to sink as well. I mean, think about it, you know, like, think about the wars that have occurred on this realm. I mean, there are beings that will tell you this is not a high-ranking planet. I don't care what they tell you. Take a look, for goodness sake, you know, like, take a look. You know, the ones who are evolving and ascending and becoming interstellar, they've already learned how to coexist. They know how to get along. You know, and there are a huge part of the populations of this place that do know how to get along. It's these numpties, you know, that really think that they are our owners and controllers. And for so long we've been playing this game with them, you know. It's like, no, they are not deserving, you know. They are not deserving. They are not. They have to step aside and let us get on with it. We know what to do. We do. We know what to do. We know how we get on. We know how to grow food. We know how to take care of things, you know. We know how to do it. There is a huge amount of this population on this planet, all over that know how to tend, how to take care of, how to... It's more than coexisting. It's actually life-enhancing, you know, to work in partnership with everybody else. Like, I mean, why is this so hard? You know, why is this such a hard concept? We've had a long time to get it right. But there have been things in the works that have ensured the regression, the going backwards, you know, the dumbing down. And I've always had this optimism. Like even when I was experiencing the worst, I've always had this optimism about, I believe we're well and truly in it, but I also think that we're well and truly closer to the true reality. And I'm not saying that things aren't real. Yeah, I could walk out in the street and I could get hit with a bus. Like some of you, if you know what I'm talking about, you know? Like, let's get along. Let's make an attempt to actually address the biases that might actually be deeply hidden within, you know? And they're not yours. They've been passed down. You know, they have been... Take a look at children. Children instantly make friends with each other. There's no barriers. The barriers come later, and we don't need them. We really don't. They're in the way. They really are in the way. They're in the way as living lives that are really, really worth living, you know, instead of this existence that they seem to want us to have. You know, I've always found that really, really interesting, that they are referred to as the elite, right? Now, the elite, is that an abbreviation for enlightenment? Because then we're looking at a joke here, because they are not enlightened. Enlightened would mean that you see the other, that you understand, that you listen. They're not your enemy, because in another time, you could have been standing exactly where they are. And that's the truth, you know. If you think about, like, the wheel, you know, we go around for another life, and then another life, and there was the whole system set up. And maybe it was a good idea, you know, back in the day. Like, it was a crash course, we're all going to learn really quick. What could happen? Well, take a look at what happened. I don't think we intended it to go down this way. You know, I don't think anybody did. And the thing is, we're more than halfway through. Like, we're well on our way now. So we are well on our way. And that's where the optimism comes in. You know, I see the sky change. I see the colours change around here. I see the buildings. I see the crystalline structures. You know, it's always right there. You know, it's right there. It's like the whole death thing never was something that confused me or made me curious. I understood, like, for the minute I got here, there is no death. There is no death. That's an illusion. And boy, did they paint, like, quite a picture about it here. You know, it's quite a story. Nothing ever dies. Nothing dies. And when a loved one passes, they're literally right beside you, you know, and it just has to do with the ability to see between the dimensions and that's it, you know. And like we all know, when we close our eyes and we go to sleep at night, we go somewhere else. You know, we are definitely somewhere else. Sometimes we're in a realm that's pretty much like this one, but there's other times we're living a totally different life. And we've had like maybe 30 years in that life. And then we're waking up in the morning and you're like, whoa, and it was as real as anything. And like, there isn't anybody out there that could tell you for sure it's not real. You know, I think it's the way that I have felt about dreams is they are more real than what is happening here. That has been my experience. And I still don't know. Still don't know if I'm going out live. Like, I haven't heard from anybody. So I'm just going to keep talking until I believe the show is ended. And I will be back next week. And I think I want to do, I learned a technique many years ago that is something I still use, like, to this day. And I found it really, really helpful. And the beauty is I can give you the outline to it, but you're the one that is basically filling it all in. So it's yours. And it's a guided visualization, so I will be like helping you create the images. And what else do I want to tell you? So next week on Life in the Hologram, we have Adrian, I believe, who is a medium. I think that's next week. And after that, we have Miss B, Zoe Greystone. And I'm not sure, we have a couple of other people lined up, but we'll confirm that as we get closer. So, what else can I tell you? Oh, yeah. My friend Alan Spring has his YouTube channel, and he's loaded up another video. I think he's got about 5 now. Like, at first he was just doing it all on Facebook. Like, he would put up these, like, he's a digital creator. And talks about the ancients and the bioelectrical field, our nervous system, you know, that bioelectrical field, which is ours, you know, and how to tune it, how the ancients were referring to it. So go check out his videos. Like, his videos are really, really cool. So that's Alan Spring, and it's on YouTube, or you can check him out on Facebook. I like the work that he's doing. It's very, there's a lot of joy in it, and I enjoy that. So, what else can I tell you? What is happening around here? We've been having a lot of rain. There seems to be a lot of rain right now happening around the world. What else is happening is that there's some volcanoes going off. The House of Commons is imploding. I think Labour thinks that that they can bully their way into the next election. I am not impressed at all. I'm not impressed. I just don't see anybody, you know, and they think I'm a nutcase, you know, like, they think, because you don't really go along with any of it. But again, they have you picking a team. They have you divided, constantly divided. And I think it was the founding fathers, like, don't do that, you know, no bipartisan, you know, like, no two-party. You know, like, I think they kind of suggested that way back. And think about it. I mean, they were fleeing oppression, you know, that was still raw in their minds, you know, in their memories. So, they knew that division is not the way to go, you know. You don't need 2 parties, 3 parties, 4 parties. You just need one. And it just needs to be for the people. No saying it's for the people. Actually be for the people. And the only way is for the people to monitor them. Monitor them. After 6 months, if they haven't done what they've promised today, they're out. You know, next. You know, like, no messing around. Like, none of this, like, takes another 4 years to get them out of there, and then you've got 4 years to correct all the mess that was made before. It is such a setup. We're being set up, people. You know, like, and like, if you want to change it, if you want to change a law, it takes a long, long time. No, it doesn't. You know, and your laws are stupid. You know, there is too many variations and individuals for one law. Like, I mean, right now, what's the hot topic? Abortion. Right? Like, those who are like, oh, my body, my choice. Yeah, it is. You know, all those, no, it's murder, don't do that. Yeah, it is. You know what I mean? There isn't one person there telling. There's two, and they're both telling the truth. So, I mean, really, it's individual cases. You have to base this on individual cases, not one size fits all. See, they just want this one size fits all. And you know what? We are not one size. We are definitely not one size. And there's like, I would like to, like, how can they do that? How can they do this to us? You know, like that would be the end. That would be the end of the race. You know, if they have them all the same. You know, there will be no diversity. There will be no thinking out of the box. They will go extinct. That's what will happen. You know. That's what I think that's probably happened in the past, you know. But the idea that you have to keep having wars, that'll make you extinct as well. You're not going to get invited to any parties or any planets, you know. You're going to be like, oh no, we need to kind of isolate them. They don't know how to play right. You know, they're all about taking land and killing people. Can you imagine? Like, how evolved beings, like, that might have even started off in the same realm that we're in, but they graduated and went out there, and they are now space travelers. Can you imagine them kind of popping their head in and having a look at what's going on here? You know, it's like, what happened? Well, the shadow happened. That's what happened. And don't get me wrong, you know, you have to balance yourself. What was it, the Native Americans, you have two wolves. You know, like, it really depends on what wolf you're going to feed. You know, you have the wolf who's about harmony, love, peace. And you have the other wolf that is about greed, jealousy, lust. Which one are you going to feed it? Again, like, when I was growing up, a lot of the cartoons would depict a little devil on a shoulder or a little angel on the other shoulder. You know, there is this duality, but it's a forced duality. It's not a natural duality. It's forced. And it has to do with overlays upon overlays, ancestry upon ancestry, lies, deceit, misleading, not knowing who you are, like people, who was it, Robert Sefer? Yeah, Robert Sefer, he wrote a book, Species with Amnesia. Now, ain't that the truth, you know? But it seems more and more of us are actually, we're actually coming to the truth. The truth is actually within us. It's here. It's who we are, you know. And yeah, it's time, you know. It's time. Oh, I think I hear the music, so maybe I have been live the whole time. Yeah, okay. So I guess I'm out of here, and thank you, listeners, for listening in. Remember, we are listener-supported to Revolution Radio. Please hit the donate button, and I will be back next Friday, 9 until 10. So enjoy your weekend, and take care. Bye-bye.